Guys, I've found the secret of barbering, and today I will be explaining 5 techniques that will instantly separate you from the average barber. Also, know that this video is very informative, and I've actually learned these throughout the 6 years I've been barbering, so it took me quite a while, and I will be sharing them in just a couple minutes. Now, if there's one thing that I really had trouble with when I first started barbering was removing that bottom line. I get a lot of DMs asking me, how do I remove that bottom line? How do I get rid of all this at the very bottom? It's very, very difficult throughout the bald line. And that is when the shaver tap comes into play. And if you've watched any of my tutorials in the past, I do always mention that if you get rid of that bottom baseline and you clear it up perfectly, you will set yourself up for a perfect fade. Now, I must say this is probably one of my favorite techniques because I just use it on a daily basis and it saves me from a lot of time just being there and trying to hit it with different machines and whatnot. The shaver tap is really useful. The shaver tap technique is one of my favorites because it's so easy but works really effectively. Let's say you have a shaver like so. All you gotta do is face the back towards the scalp itself and just keep tapping that baseline as you flow through. It works so effectively, I would recommend it to anybody who's having trouble removing that bottom baseline. I've personally never seen anybody do this technique. And if you're kind of curious, go give it a try and come back to the video and let me know if it actually worked for you. I personally love this, but yeah, on to the next technique. The next technique that I feel like will separate you from the other barbers around you is scalp stretching. Again, removing the low numbers can be very difficult, and if you're still having trouble, scalp stretching will literally come handy 99% of the time. Now, this technique is fairly simple and pretty straightforward just from its name, but all you really gotta do is stretch the skin from the portion you're working on, put your clipper in or your trimmer, and then just use your corners to just get rid of any line you're able to see. Anyways, guys, if you still don't understand what I'm talking about, here's a cinematic little clip of what I'm talking about. And all you see me doing is pulling that scalp as far as I can and then just trying to put in my trimmer in there and my clipper as well. Guys, I promise you this will be effective 99.9% of the time, so give it a try. All right, now the third technique is clipper and trimmer levels, and this is more of an adjustment, but let me show you what I'm talking about. We have a clipper, trimmer, and a shaver, right? Our clipper right here, if opened all the way, will lead us to the next guard that is available, which is a half guard, and then after a half guard, it's a number 1. If you guessed that before me, good job. 1.5, and then 2, and then so on, the next couple numbers. But what I'm trying to say is if you close up the lever from your clipper, it should lead you on to the next number below that, and that is your trimmer. If you still don't understand me, the trimmer has no lever whatsoever, but it does have 2 levels, and that is if you face the trimmer like so. Let me grab my mannequin right here. If you face the trimmer like so, you could basically just flick out a tad bit and not create such a harsh line. If you flip it like so, then it becomes another level closer to your shaver. So you're hitting it with your corners, and then after, the only thing left to do and the only thing you can do to go lower is use the shaver. After this, after you've put in the shaver and you've used maybe the shaver tap to get rid of the bottom line, then there's nothing else to do. The shaver is the last option, and that will get your scalp clean bald. More of the story, if you fully close up your lever on your clipper, it should lead you onto your trimmer. Your trimmer should lead you onto your shaver, and when you're at the shaver, you should be good to go. These specific 3 techniques that I've mentioned throughout half this video is specifically just for the bottom portion of the fade. But that is what a lot of people have trouble on, and it will literally save your life if you actually put in these 3 to work. Number 4 is the Adobe illusion. What I mean by this is I used to search up so many pictures that were nearly perfect from barbering. Every time I'd see someone's hair, they'd have one thing in common, and that is using your corners throughout every single speck of hair, making it look equal and precise throughout the whole side of the head. Guys, now let's say there's a client and he has hair flowing that way, and all of a sudden you see it go down and then clearly to the other side. Now what you wanna do, and what I fully recommend you to do, is grab the corner of your trimmers. It's gonna be very difficult. Most of the time, a lot of straight hair has this, maybe like Hispanics or Asians, And all you really gotta do is use your corners to get in there, especially in the dark areas. You wanna keep hitting it repetitively in the same angle, making it look like an Adobe illusion. Guys, I am literally giving you everything I've got today, so if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. You won't regret it. I'm gonna be making videos like this often, informing you guys on different topics and secrets that you guys might not know. Now finally, for the fifth technique, I have brush or comb. Now this is more of a muscle memory type thing, but when having a clipper in hand, you should always get used to either having a brush or a comb in hand. But what I mean by muscle memory is every time you work from a number 1 to a 00, you should always get used to having a brush in hand. And then actually get used to switching it up to a comb when working on numbers such as a 1.5 and above. Basically putting it into simple terms, anything from a 1 to a 00, use a brush. Anything from 1.5 and above, use a comb to brush down. It's that easy, guys. Get used to that. Every time you switch guards, get used to switching these up as well. Guys, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to give it a huge thumbs up and subscribe as well while you're at it. Anyways, that's been it for me. I'm MartyBlendz and I'm out. Peace.